Good morning, everyone. How are you? My name is Peter, and I hope this video finds you in good health and great spirits. We have good news. We have a commission. We have a gig. PUBG Mobile sponsoring this video. They have a new map coming out with a new feature where you can design and customize your own gun skins. So with that in mind, we are going to draw and design our own custom gun skin. Now, everyone needs a muse. So of course I went straight to my roommate Dan and asked him if he had any inspiration for me. And he did. Hey, Dan? Dan? Oh, look. He's playing with Jeff on the... Jeff must be... This is where Jeff lives now, I'm not sure. Well, that's where my pickle juice shot went. Put down here with the eggs. Anyways, you don't mind if I look around? I think he's okay. He hasn't just fallen over, right? I think he told me he keeps his guns in this drawer. I mean, he doesn't actually tell me stuff, he just texts me sometimes. Oh, the drawer fell out, but I found his AR. Just put it right here and fix his drawer. Sorry about that. I'll bring your gun back in a second, okay? I just need it for some research, inspo, okay? Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to point it at you. All right, bear it back. Thanks. So I was able to get from him a few things that he had lying around. This sniper rifle, and a few others. Now, this one does seem pretty nice. Got the collapsible shoulder stock, the vert grip, flash hider, chambered in 5.56 NATO, and, of course, all topped off with the EO tech. Oh yeah, nothing like a nice holographic sight. But this is not what I need. Let me instead show you my weapon of choice. That's right, the Rotring Isograph chambered in .35 caliber waterproof ink. Perfect for almost any situation. This is what we're going to use today, and then we're going to follow it up for a little color. We're going to go back in with the Tombow dual brush markers. All right, these I tried once, and we're going to try it again, see how they go. We have a few different colors here. This one that looks a little bit different is actually a blending marker. I haven't really figured out how to use that yet. I think that's what it is anyways. As you can see with the new PUBG mobile update, there are a lot of customization features for making your own gun skins. A lot of different directions, options. You can go crazy with it. So we're gonna go crazy with it, drawing and making our own gun skin. It's gonna be fun. It's clear to see that we can do almost anything we wanted with the in-game editor, but I'm gonna take those ideas and try to expand them on paper, as that's where my skills lie. So we started out with a little bit of lighthearted tracing. I wasn't sure about the best way to get the image of the gun onto the paper, because really the gun part isn't what we're getting creative about here today. It's the art on the gun, right? At first I had the idea of using that robot arm that I've used before, where you can like plot images to be drawn by the robot arm, and I got the robot arm out and everything, and I really need to use that thing again because I bought it for like $400 and I've only used it for one video, and I will use it again, but then I got it out, and how I have my desk set up right now, it doesn't really fit on my desk, so I need to like move my drawers back a little bit, because the robot arm needs a little bit of room for it needs a little bit of a backswing. So I'll need to move a few things around on my desk, and then I can move it again. My idea for the robot arm is this. I want to draw a picture, right? And then scan it in, and then use the robot arm to create prints, like maybe like 10 signed prints. But they're better than it's still like it's a cool combination of digital and manual, right? Because I can create the reproductions of my drawing with, first of all, with the original pen that I used to make the original drawing, and with the original paper. And it's better than a printer, because, it's not like a bunch of little, I'm not, if it's not obvious already, I don't know how printers work, but they like spurt down a bunch of little ink pixels. I know that's probably a terrible way to explain it, but with a pen, it's a much more authentic reproduction. Obviously, it'll be a little bit different because with the robot arm, it kind of creates paths like created from vectors in Illustrator and so on and so forth. But I think it'd be pretty cool. And that way, more people can have a little bit of my art if they want. And I wouldn't have to charge so much for those prints as I do for the originals. Anyways, back to this drawing. I traced the image of the gun. The one we're using here is the Scar L. And I started, even before I was finished tracing, I kind of started to incorporate some extra little features in there, some vines and flowers kind of twirling around it. And in this video, I used 3 different nib or tip widths of rotring. And I even used a rotring repeatograph, which is not regular for me, because usually I just use rotring isographs. The main difference is the way you fill them and refill them. I spent a long time rehabilitating some pens yesterday evening when I was drawing this, because I wanted to use a very fine, a 0.1 for some of the lines, the line work on the inside of the gun there, which I would later then color in. I pretty much like created my own coloring book page here, right? Create my own line work on the inside of the gun and then come in with the markers later and color it all in. So I wanted like fine lines with the 0.1. That was the repeatograph, which is the ones that are cartridge filled. You're not really supposed to refill those, but I did refill it, and I had to like do some maintenance on it. I had to take it all apart and rinse it out, and I found like this whole extra gasket in there that I didn't know was in there. It was a very interesting thing, but it worked fine, and I refilled it with the syringe. So I mean the rotring isographs and repeatographs really are not that much different, except that it's a little bit messier, maybe, to refill. It takes a little bit more effort to refill the repeatographs than the isographs. If I could choose, I would just take the isographs. They're just slightly designed more to be refilled with a little. I have like a big bottle of the rotring ink. I get this stuff that's rotring brand because why not? That stuff seems to work really good for me, and I've heard so many horror stories of people getting theirs clogged up, and some of mine do clog up. So thankfully, I have a few that work well, and they keep working well. But the ones I have that don't work well, they keep not working well. I don't know. Maybe they're just duds. So I used I had a tiny one for the lines on the inside, 0.1, and then my kind of general one, the 0.35 for general line work. And then I had the 0.7 rotring isograph, which I used to kind of outline the gun to give it a kind of a little more oomph for the outline there. And it worked pretty good. Now, when it comes to these markers, there's a few frustrations. Okay, a few frustrations. I think in the future, I will keep working with markers because I think there really is something there. There are some possibilities, some potential. And now I also have some Copic markers, which I think I might try using again, which I bought years ago. They're still good. They've got to be still good. One of the main problems with these markers, the Tombow, is I think they're water-based, right? The Copic markers are alcohol-based. I'm not sure of all the differences between those, but these water-based ones, I'm sure someone in chat can elucidate me a little bit more and correct me on if I get any of this wrong. But the water-based ones, these ones, if I use them to draw on top of each other, they don't really seem to layer. They seem more to mix together. They get a little bit swimmy and muddy. But the alcohol-based ones, the Copic markers, those seem to actually layer on top of each other, like they're individual layers, and you can just see how the colors interact, if that makes any sense. So what I struggled with here is I wanted at the end of the drawing, I wanted to and failed to figure out a way to do a little bit of shading on the body of the gun. You can see I did some shading on the magazine and a little bit on the grip pad there, whatever it's called. I didn't really do any shading on the whole body of the gun because in this pack of colors there were no grays. Now I think a lot of shadows really are maybe tones of purple or blue, but I didn't want to go across all of this and touch up all my other colors with purple and blue because it would get all mixed up, and I didn't want it to start looking weird muddy browns and stuff. I was very hesitant to start messing up the whole thing. Okay, I will admit I was afraid, and this is really where it comes into, like, I'm a little bit jealous of all the time I spent drawing, all through high school, and all the time I wasn't recording myself, right? I think it's very valuable to do this sort of thing. Just have fun drawing. Don't record it. Don't even draw for other people. Just draw because you like it. And that's when you really make a lot of progress, because the stakes are low, but you make tons of progress right there at the beginning. If I was going to make an analogy, I will admit right now that I have recently started playing RuneScape again, okay? Old school RuneScape, 2007 Scape. I used to play this a long time ago, like when I was in like 8th grade. I don't know what year that was, but it was maybe like 8 years ago or something. I don't know. Does that make sense? Maybe. No, it's like 12 years ago. Anyways, it was a long time ago. And anyways, I kind of like it because I can play it at the same time as I do video editing, because I can just make my character chop trees, and only every now and then I can tell it to chop a different tree while I work on video editing or just over on the other monitor. Anyways, what I wanted to say is, at the beginning of a skill, as you're leveling it up, it goes really quick, right? You gain levels really quickly. But then as you get higher up in the skill, and as your levels get higher, it takes more and more experience to gain another level. And that's kind of like where I am with pens. I feel like with pen and ink work, I'm pretty high level. I mean, I'm not just trying to toot my own horn here, but I've just spent so much more time with pen and ink work. And so it takes more experience before I make have another revelation or epiphany or anything, right? And gain another level, so to speak. But with these markers, I'm very low level with markers. Like, I feel like each one of these videos I make with the markers, I gain another level. It's like blink, 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 another level, boom, boom, boom. I don't know why. I've played so many video games in my life. I imagine so many things in my life to be like video games. I don't know if that's healthy or not, but I think I could probably level up with markers even faster if I wasn't making videos about every drawing I was doing. But it's okay. It's part of the process too. It's also a good source of motivation, because maybe if I wasn't making videos, then I wouldn't be drawing at all. Sometimes, because sometimes it's easy to just sit around and only play RuneScape or something else, Anyways, I don't know what else I was going to say, except that I might try the Copic markers again, because with those I do have a bunch of grayscale markers, so maybe easier to do some more shades of gray. And also with these, it's weird because the yellow I chose here was a really nice shade of yellow, and I was really excited about it because in my limited experience with using color, once again, I feel like I'm low-level color user. From what I've seen, introducing yellow into the mix really makes things pop sometimes, right? And helps the other colors look more exciting and more vibrant. But I feel like there's something about this camera, or maybe cameras in general. Maybe it's just like the wavelength that yellow is. It's just hard for it to look as bright on video or on the screen, or in real life it just looks so much brighter and vibrant than it did on screen, is because I have like the feed from my camera pulled up on my monitor as I'm drawing, so I can see what I'm doing, kind of frame it right and everything. And I don't know, it just looked kind of browner and more mustardy and kind of more bland than it did in real life. Of course, real life is always better, at least in most things. But I don't know. We'll see if I can tweak the video settings at all, because I'll try to tweak the video settings to get the yellow to look, get the, what's the word, for there to be some fidelity. Usually when I try to get the yellow to look right, it kind of makes the other colors to look a little crazier. I just want all of them to look like they look to me as I was looking down at the piece of paper drawing. Also, I realized I picked 3 colors. Besides the green for the vines, I picked yellow, blue, and purple, or yellowish, bluish purple, right? But then I realized I didn't have to color in all of it. I could leave some gaps, and I actually had another 4th color, white. And it actually looked all right, I think. Also, I wish that I had maybe had some slightly more powerful colors, because it ended up looking maybe a little bit washed out. We'll see if I can maybe tweak a little bit to make it look a little bit more vibrant and exciting. I wanted a slightly more powerful purple, but the other purple in the pack of markers was like way too powerful and bright, so I just had to go with this slightly less powerful one. But I'm pretty happy with how it turned out overall. Pretty cool looking gun. Thanks for watching, everyone. Make sure to go check out the new map that's being released on PUBG Mobile, and the new feature to customize your own guns in-game on the app. So, all right, take it easy, everyone. I'm gonna go now. All right, bye.